Okay, so we're building a fretboard here on the 2, and this is going to be in the key of D. So we put a fret nut right here. Remember, this is still all P4's tuning in the 10-string pattern stack. Put the fret nut right here, so the low E becomes the 2, which means we're in the key of D. Right, so it's going to be 2 is the E. So it's 2, 3, 2. This is the E. Okay. All right, so we look at the 4th would be G, which is the 4th of D. But we have to finish the tuning, so it's a real guitar fretboard. So let's go into cursor mode, and I'm going to warp over the top 2 strings. So this is why it's in P4 tuning, because we never know where we're going to need to put the tuning third. It's called the tuning third or the tuning warp. In this case, we're putting it right here. Okay, so now we're looking, so everything else goes away. Don't worry about this. Don't worry about this. Now we're just looking at our D fretboard right here. So you see the 5 root 3, that's actually in the key of D if and only if this is the fret nut or a capo or whatever, you know, but the fret nut usually. So we've got the key of D, so we've got on the top 5 root 3. Like that, and we get our D scale. 5, 6, but guess what? We cannot access the 7 and the 3 unless you do something magical like, you know, tune your guitar down, you know, and then you just essentially move the dots up. So if you tune your guitar down a whole step, you essentially have to move the dots up a whole step to be the same note, correct? So I can reach that, you know, I can reach them now. Okay, so there it is. That high G is the 4th. So that's the way we deal with the pen. That's the 10-string pattern stack. All right, so once again, we can build any of the 5 cage shapes with the 10-string pattern stack. We can try another one. We can do the key of A. So in the key of A, what do we have? E becomes the 5th when we play an A. So this is where your fret nut is. We play an A. E becomes the 5th. So we're going to go from 5 to 5 here. Okay, so let's do that. So we're going to make our guitar from 5 to 5. We're going to draw the fret nut in. It's going to be right here, so that the open low note E becomes the 5th. Same note, but it's the 5th of A. Okay, so that really starts low, way lower than the lowest E. E becomes the 5th there. Now we have to change the tuning of the top 2 strings. All right, so we're going to bring them over. Bring them over one fret. So if I cut it exactly, then I can just draw kind of a transparent box, one fret over, and put it in there, and then adjust. It doesn't want to adjust. Why isn't it adjusting? I don't know, but it's lined up enough. And then we can get rid of the extraneous parts of the patterns that we're not using, because it's no string, no play on the bottom, and on the top it hasn't been warped over, and even if it was, it's no string, no play. So that's, we're looking at a virtual fretboard setup with notes labeled for the key of A. Fret nut warped over, so we have the same notes on the top and the bottom. And by the way, that's not a coincidence. It's not a coincidence. The pattern is starting over again. You saw how the pattern starts over again. Let's follow it. So according to the string circle, if we start on A, we skip G, and we're going to just do the word caged. We're going to do the word caged, and we're going to go every other letter, and that'll be fifth until we get to the E, and then we have to take it to the C instead of a B. So A, skip G, little g, and go to E. E, skip D and go to C, augmented fifth. Okay, C, skip A and go to G. G, skip E and go to D. The D shape, 2, 3, 4. And then we're right back from the D shape. We're right back where we started, skip C and go to the A shape. That's why you have the same notes, top and bottom. It just worked out that way. So there, we did the A note. Now the A pattern. Now, most people can't access these notes if you have a hard fret nut there, and these are the open strings. You're not going to be able to access them, or you'll have to get that 7 a whole step up from the 6. You have to get the 3 a whole step up from that 2, and you have to get the 6 a whole step up from that 5. So you're essentially adding these guys over here somewhere to get that pattern, right? To get that pattern like that, you just add those in. And by the way, that is the S3XL pattern. 5, 6, 7, root 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's the use of the long patterns. 5, 6, 7, root 2, 3. It happens to work out. The S3XL works out best on the key of A because you got the 5. If you were in the key of E, where you have the root there, you'd have to start on root. So you'd be just taking the top 2/3 of that pattern, and then you'd have to go into a 7 root 2 up here from the A shape into the E shape again. Remember, in cage, C-A-G-E, the E shape would be there. That'd be easy. That'd be easy. Because the 5th of A is E. That's how we're doing it. I'm not going to say, oh, well, in the S3L pattern, that 5, 6 will take you right into 7 root 2. No, now we're doing it in fifths because we're going up the strings. So this would be the A shape. This would be the E shape. One's the 5th of the other, and these are the pattern shapes. So remember, this 7 root 2 would be the bottom string if we were making an E build. Same thing, just with this as the bottom string, and that's why we call this